In this video, we look at how Kaizer Chiefs tried to attack Sundowns and how that actually led to Sundowns' goal. And we're also going to look at how Mamelodi Sundowns could not penetrate Kaizer Chiefs through the middle and why they ended up being able to do that. We'll also just debunk a big myth about how Mdau performed in this game. So let's get to it. Hello and welcome to the Cutback with me, Coach Mpilo. Here we analyze South African football content, mainly the big three. So do make sure to follow, subscribe to the channel, and most importantly, like it and share it with your friends. So let's start by looking at how Da Cruz set up Chiefs when they were attacking. So the simple thing was Chiefs were trying to create and get as many players up front as possible. So as you can see in this case, they are playing Umthetho as a single pivot, a 6, which usually is him and Mabue or him and Ndlovu, Mtasingwa and whoever. It's usually two people here. But in this case, they played one deep because they wanted Mabue and Ndlovu to go forward as quickly as possible. And as you can see, Monyane is high up. As you can see, Batman is high up. And also Pili is central high up. And Modi as a left wing back was also adding numbers going forward. So the idea for Chiefs was to create these wide overloads where now you have Miguel as a left center back switching to the left hand side and then having Modi here and then Mabue if it's on the left hand side and then Pili in that half space as well. Now they know that Sundowns is going to press them. So when Sundowns did press them, Chiefs would try to play these quick combination passes around, and as you can see here, Sundowns are quick to win the ball. But then in some cases, it did not happen like that for Sundowns because Chiefs would start with their, again, that diamond out wide. And Sundowns once again would press, and Sundowns, all of them are pressing and pushing towards the area where there is a ball, leaving a 3v3 with Monyane isolated with Modiba, with Ndlovu now can make a run here on our pass, and then here Johannes isolated with Batman. So when Sundowns tried to put on the pressure, this quick overload, this quick play, and then now Batman is clear. He can take on his man, and in this case, what Batman does, Johannes actually recovers. But now here's the thing that I don't know whether Batman did not understand or it's the older players, because here you see Mabue, he's telling him to come down. You can see by his hands, relax. He doesn't want him to cross the ball. You have Ndlovu here wanting the ball to fit, despite the fact that he's literally being marked by two people. Is that confident Uguti can wiggle around and play the ball. But also you see that there's space here which he could be running into, and Batman thought the best thing to do is to play the ball into that space, but his passing was just horrible. You see this thing that Chiefs were really trying to do this, because here once again, it's in the second half now, that wide overload again, Sundowns come here and press and the ball goes out, but Umthetho in this case is too slow to switch the ball to the other side. And by the time the ball does go to the other side, Sundowns have already recovered, so Chiefs cannot progress the ball. And here's the best demonstration of this overload to switch thing, because Chiefs were playing the ball on that other side. It's 8v6, and then on the other side you have Modiba isolated with Monyane, and Upili does switch the ball, and if he just touches the ball better, it goes to Batman. Chiefs scores, but the touch is horrible. Now let's look at how this led to Mamelodi Sundowns' goal, because Chiefs once again in that wide overload type of thing, because it wasn't going through the middle, and then Miguel here, because there's no forward pass, passes it back to Peterson, who kicks it forward. But then since Chiefs has numbers up front there, they can now regain the ball. And again, Sundowns are concentrated on one side. Now Uduba is isolated with Johannes. With a better pass, everything goes well here. But it's the 74th minute, and as we're about to look at when we do the analysis of Chiefs' defense, you will see how this thing or how the defensive part contributed to Chiefs conceding this goal. Because Da Cruz's man here, the ball is from Mabue. He tries to play it forward, but then Johannes wins the ball. The press is not good enough because there was not a good first touch. Ndlovu does not press our pass, right? He just kind of falls back, which gives him time to look up and see that there are three options against Umthetho. and the ball is played. Now Umteto is marking 2 people, and then Ukunika tries to step up, Mloisane tries to step up. There are 2 players who are free. Lokunja Umodi here is thinking he should be pressing this guy, but there's also a guy behind him, so he's kind of caught in 6s and 7s, and then the ball is behind, and then this leads to Miguel looking across. He's looking at Umkwena thinking, I should close down Umkwena. But again, the same thing with Umodi having to mark 2 people. Then he has to go and help there. But he trusts Modi too much, and then he kind of just stops because he thought somehow the ball was not going to go through. And then what happens? Well, it goes through, and then Allende is free. Abomolo Isan and Abo, they are watching. Modi is mad, obviously. Now, obviously, after this, it looks like Peterson also got injured here, but Sundowns are about to take a corner. Now, in them taking a corner, you will see that Miguel wins the ball clean. We've cleared the ball away. We're supposed to be good now. But once again, Ndlovu is not sprinting to press the guy on the ball. He's thinking about that guy out wide. So he's not pressing. I think it wasn't Mailula. I think it was Umkwena, if not Ndlovu. He's thinking of pressing the guy wide, but there's no one putting pressure on Umtao. Now Umtao has time to lift up his head, and as the ball goes up, initially you can clearly see it's 5v5 plus the keeper, so we should have no problem. And then as the ball goes over, Ox doesn't jump here, because if he jumps, he gets the ball, but it doesn't. And then Peterson also misses the ball, and then it ends up being a goal. All of this to say, people can blame Peterson as the one who was finally responsible for the goal going in, but there were a lot of steps that were involved in this goal being considered. Let's take it to the next step, which is how Chiefs defended. If you're watching on TikTok, well, the video ends here, so go check it out on Khosi Nation Fan TV. Aibo ngaphinda futhi on the cutback with Umpilo on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, go check it out there as well. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, let's continue with how the game then progresses. So at this point, Chiefs were dead tired legs, so that's why Mtasingwa came on for Mabue. But how did we even get here to Mabue being tired? Well, that takes us to how Chiefs were playing without the ball. So this is Chiefs in their back 5, Modi playing as a left wing back, Miguel playing as a left center back, Moloisane playing as a center back of the back 3, and then you have Kunika as a right center back, Munyane there, and then here you have Mabue, Ox and Ndlovu making the 3, and then Pili and Badman. So the idea here, you can clearly see, force Sundowns wide, because with these 5, the ball is not allowed centrally. So indeed, the ball goes wide, and then what does Chiefs do? They just shift all of their players, with Modi stepping up to Van Veek if it was Van Veek, or Matthews if it was Matthews, and then Umabue obviously stopping the central progression together with Upili. So what ended up happening is Sundowns would then be forced to go back, because where would they go? So in them going back, obviously they are going to go back and try doing it on the other side, and in them trying to do it on the other side, the same thing happened, because Chiefs just blocked them and forced them back, or won the ball. So they forced them back. And then again, it's the same thing that happens in this other example. The ball is with Sundowns. Look at the bottom of the screen here. This is going to become a problem as the match goes on, but we'll leave it for now. So stay tuned, because we're going to talk about that. So when we look on the top side of the screen again, you see the ball goes wide. Allende drifts wide, and Ndlovu follows him, and then Sundowns are forced to go back. And they continue trying to play again and again and again and again. They go backwards. They try to play the ball. And now you can see that Ndlovu wants, or was told, to make sure that the ball does not go wide and anything happens there. So then Allende is now passed to Mthethwa. Now you can see Mthethwa getting closer to Allende, Ndlovu wide, Mthethwa marking Allende. So when the ball they try to play, they have no options, so they go back, and so on and so on. So what Sundowns started to do is they would drop Allende to be part of the back 3. So now of the back 2. And now that means Sundowns has 3 people at the back, and Chiefs only has these 2. 1, 2. So there's now an advantage in that build up. So Allende could be able to be free and pick a pass like this one, and here Leon does not get on the ball. And the dropping actually became kind of sort of dangerous, because again you have the 3v2, Allende dropping, and now not Allende, Aupas this time around, which means Kekana is free, and now Kekana can get on the ball with no one immediately pressuring him and try to play the ball long. But then Peterson was well positioned, so he always came out and got the ball. The dropping continues because once again Mkhulise, now this is the third midfielder of Sundowns, dropping to make that overload at the back. But the thing that he tried to do, which Allende did not try to do, is try to play the ball with Aupas, and then Chiefs would just be around him, and they did not allow them to play in the space, because why would they? So then the ball would be on, and then Chiefs in these moments were not able to capitalize. Well, they did in the goal, but they didn't. And this continued even in the second half, because you can see here once again you have Aupas dropping, and as it drops, he plays that long ball again, but Miguel is there, heads the ball back. And then this is why Phili and Badman were actually subbed off, because if you look at them, look at how far apart they are. First half, you never saw anyone playing between the lines. By between the lines, let me show you an example. If you look at this, you see that there is no one here. I'm going to show you. You see here, there's no one blue here. Do you see that? No one is blue here. No one is of Sundowns. They rather get out to try and play. They couldn't do anything here between the lines. But now in the second half, we started to see more and more of exactly that. So the ball can now be progressed into that area, because now the distance between the two players up front was just too big. And that is why they were tired, and the coach saw that he needed to take them off. And you see it again here. They are too far apart. Sundowns are playing the ball. Johannes can just get the ball, pick the pass over, and Munyane defends very well. But before Chiefs, before they took the two guys off because of what was happening in the second half, Chiefs actually scored. And if you look at what is happening, the distance is still there. The distance is still big, and Sundowns are playing. So what they try to do, they play a back pass. Again, what element is that? Aupas is dropping to try and create that overload. But this time around, since it's a 3v2, remember, this is maths. Football is also just as maths as it is football. So instead of letting this 3v2 happen, what does Mthethwa do? He steps up to Aupas to press him. And that triggers Aupas. He now tries to play the ball, because usually we saw that when he plays the ball, like the first time he drops here, let's look at here. You see that initially when Allende dropped, no one would be marking him, and he would be able to pick these passes. Same thing with Aupas. When he dropped, usually what would happen? No one would be marking him. Again here, when this guy drops, no one would be marking him, and again no one would be marking him, and all of that stuff. But now, if you now take a look at the instance for the goal, the ball goes back, Ox follows, and he does not let him have the ball, and now he's forced to make that pass rushed. Now Chiefs can pounce. Mabue pounces, wins the ball, plays a forward pass. Badman does not get the ball. But now, what is this, football watchers? This is called a pressing trigger, because a pressing trigger basically means, when are we going to press? We are going to press if the team, has a heavy touch, or maybe the player is facing his own goal, or maybe he takes a heavy touch. So in this case, he's facing his own goal. So that triggers Chiefs players to go out for the kill. So they press him. Everyone is just moving up. Ndlovu wins the ball, and now he plays Usiyohlangana phambili. Now, even with this ends as a goal, but it also tells you what I was saying. Badman and Phili were tired. Look at Badman. He just stands there. Although he's like the striker here in this case, but he's standing and walking and walking and walking. But Ndlovu is still doing his things there, and we end up scoring. But if somehow, let's just say Phili did not think of finishing in this case, the ball goes there, Phili tries to cross, and then it goes further than Umabue. Badman was supposed to be there to score. He's already celebrating, trusting his teammate. But one thing that a striker must always do, you expect a mistake, you expect a save, and you are there to finish. But as I said, they were tired, and as a result, the coach takes them off, obviously. Now, it continues happening, this thing of Sundowns dropping. Aupas again gets the ball. Now Chiefs are shifted to one side. And look at the distance. Mabue has to mark that guy wide. We saw that in the first half that the midfielders were on the side, which is Ndlovu, no Mabue, were the ones who were given the responsibility to move to the side. In this case, Chiefs were just struggling to close down the players, because when the ball now goes wide, Mabue is taking too long to get to Mdau. Mdau has time to lift his head, and then he makes the pass. And Leon gets the ball, and we almost get punished. But luckily we don't, Chiefs. And then next up is you just keep on seeing the same thing. No one is putting pressure on the defender. No one is putting pressure on the wide man. Again and again and again, you started seeing this thing in the second half towards the end of the match. Someone has dropped and no one is putting pressure, and then the ball goes wide, and then Sundowns creates dangerous opportunities. It happened on and on and on and on again. And now I know someone is going to say, oh, that's because they took off Pili and that was a bad sub. But that's actually not true. And I'm about to show you that, because a lot of people I saw, even whether it's on Twitter or anywhere, people were like, oh, the moment Pili was taken off, Mdau was free to go up. But that's not true. Let me show you. So this is now just based on Khuliso Mdau. This is in the first half. Literally on the 4th minute. Pili is still further up the pitch, but look where Mdau is. He's up. Again, you look a few minutes later, same thing, few seconds later, Mdau is up, even though Pili is here, because people said, oh, Pili was staying up, so it forced Mdau to stay back. It's not true, because here again is another example. It's on the 11th minute now, because people were like, oh, it happens seldom. No, it happened all the time. This is the 3rd time now. Whenever Sundowns were attacking, you see this. You go a few minutes later, you see there, Pili, where is Pili? Pili is there at the back, but Mdau, he's further up the pitch. Again, it happens even in the second half. You see the same thing. Mdau is further up the pitch. Where is Pili? Pili is here marking. And by the way, I'm not saying this is Pili's fault. I'm saying Mdau was not controlled by the positioning of Pili. And here, this is the second half. Mdau is up. Pili, Nangu number 70, you can see number 70, he's there. So once again, it's not, and it was never controlled, even before the goal. It was never controlled by the positioning of Mdau. There he is again. It's the same thing. 79. There he is again. Do you understand? And even after the goal, obviously now he had to go up, but Pili was still there. But you can clearly see that Mdau was high regardless of where Pili was positioned. So yeah, I'm glad I debunked that, because I had a conversation with some people and I read a lot of things, and people were saying, oh, Pili should have stayed on. He was tired, as you already saw when we were talking about how Chiefs ended up conceding. It's because those guys were tired and they needed to be taken off. Not because they suck, but they were just tired. But what did you make of the match? Do let me know down on the comment section below. Subscribe, share with your friends, and I'll see you on the next one.